What's up everyone, SuperaTom here, and today we are finally going to be taking a look into Baal's team comp. However, I might actually be breaking this down into two parts. One in this video will be covering Baal's team with only 4-star characters for you free-to-play players, and then the next video will include 5-star characters as well, because believe it or not guys, Baal's team comp is so diverse that you've already got a lot of options choosing from only 4-star characters. So I'll do my best to cover almost all possible options for you guys, which includes Baal's team comp as a burst DPS, her comp as a main DPS, and finally different switch team that you can run with her as well. Okay, and without further ado, let us jump into the video. First off is her team comp as a burst DPS, and one of the best comp for 4-star character right now is Overload team, where you have Yanfei as your main DPS, Baal, Xiangling, and Sarah. This gives you both Pyro and Electro Resonance, so you have 25% attack bonus with a lot of particles generated for energy recharge. Xiangling provides you a very good off-field damage, and Sarah here stands in place for Bennett. So huge potential for DPS, especially since Overload has been buffed since 1.6, and Yanfei is a Catalyst user, so she can still do very well even if mobs are flying everywhere from Overload. An alternative is you switch Sarah with Fischl, though there's no damage boost from Sarah now, but Fischl Oz just provides you amazing off-field damage together with Xiangling's burst. Plus, Oz generate you even more particles, so this will potentially gives you more burst uptime. Or you can also have Beidou, who can provide you shield as well as her burst is absolutely amazing for off-field damage as well. But here's a more realistic team, especially when you are in the Abyss. You have Bennett and Fischl. Bennett is just needed because he has healing, so unless you're amazing at iframe dodging, you won't last very long without a healer. And since you already have Bennett, you don't need Sarah because the amount of damage bonus from both is probably too high that you will get diminishing returns, so Fischl here for more energy recharge is very good. Now if you'd like to go for EM team, then we can have Sucrose. Your opponent is almost always going to have electro element applied because Baal E skill has 100% uptime, so Sucrose just helps a ton with overload reaction damage for their team. And if you'd like to have a mix of elemental reaction, you can have Xingqiu, so his rain sword along with Baal's E skill will activate electro charge most of the time, and then with Yanfei, shield triggers various reaction as well, and this might not be affected by internal cooldown, so you potentially have more reaction uptime. Okay, so that's Yanfei as main DPS. Now if you'd want Sarah or Fischl as main DPS, we can have Fischl, Xingqiu, Baal, and Bennett for electro charge with attack buff. And another team with Sarah, there's Xingqiu, Baal, and Sayu, where Sayu here is the healer as well as amazing anemo off-field damage. Or if you would like to run elemental mastery team, then you can have Sucrose in your team. Okay, here is if you are running superconduct team. First we have Razor as DPS running with Baal, Bennett, and Kaya, or Rosaria, either one because they both give you very consistent cryo application during their burst. And if you're running Kaya as main DPS, you can run him with Baal, Bennett, and Fischl. Very good ER regen on this team, so Kaya can keep his burst up almost always. Or if you'd like shield and cryo resonant, you can have Diona as well. And finally, for those of you who loves Geo DPS, there's not much reaction going on with Geo, so what we can have is Ningguang as DPS, Baal, Geo Traveler, and Sarah. This gives you both electro and Geo resonance while having Sarah here to boost your damage. And that's for Baal's burst DPS comp. Now we have her main DPS team comp, which I'm sure many of you are waiting to see. So best option we've got for Baal as main DPS is you running her with superconduct team, because that's where you do more damage during her normal attack, which is physical damage. So what we can have is Sarah or Fischl, Kaya, and Diona. Sarah here is the better option because of her attack boost, and second best scenario is you have Sarah at C6, where she basically boosts Baal's burst crit damage by 60% because Baal's burst is electro damage. Kaya will give you constant superconduct during his burst, and his burst is pretty easy to have constant uptime. And Diona is for shield and healing, so this is a very solid team from what I am seeing. Other option where it gives you a lot of off-field damage is Baal with Fischl, Xingqiu and Bennett, or with Sarah, Xingqiu and Xiangling. Now in both cases you have electro resonance and attack boost, while Fischl's Oz or Xiangling's burst should do very well with Xingqiu's Rainsword. Another possible option is Overload team. Now it's not very good if you're up against slimes or enemies that keeps getting knocked back, but if you're up against large enemies or mobs that can't be easily knocked back, this is also a very solid option. And that's it for Baal's main DPS. Now we have a look at some switch team options, which in my opinion is where Baal fits in really well, because switch team means you'd want to switch your 4 character around in sequence to cast their burst and deal damage, and then cast their E skill for energy to build up, and then you repeat the cycle. Now this is something that Baal would love, because remember her burst damage is also based off of how much burst energy your other team member uses before she hit her Q. So option number 1, we've got Baal, Sarah or Fischl, Xingqiu and Xiangling. Fischl if you want more off-field damage and energy regen to keep the whole team burst up consistently, or Sarah if you feel that your team energy recharge is already enough and would like to have more damage. Option 2 is Superconduct switch team, where you run Sarah, Baal, Kaya and Rosaria. Kaya and Rosaria are just 2 amazing switch team characters and they fit really well in Superconduct team like this. Option 3, we have Baal, Bennett, Xiangling and Xingqiu. This is going to be more elemental reaction heavy team. Baal's burst might be a bit slower to regen, but you have more burst up time for the other team member. Next is for Geo Lover. Switch team can also be used here, where Ning Wang can be used because her burst cost is quite low, so you can spam that, and Geo Traveler for resonant as well as Sarah for attack bonus. And now for my most favorite switch team, the Electro Supremacy team. There's no way I'm missing out on a team like this, especially for someone who loves Electro characters. So the reason why I say this team is really good is 1, because I love Electro characters obviously, but also you can go up against almost all enemy type and have no problem, if I'm not mistaken. Now the reason why I say this is because the only trouble you most likely find yourself in is enemies with Electro Shield like the Abyss Lecter. However, that's why we have Bennett here, and if you don't know, Bennett is a god at breaking Electro Shield, so once that shield is down, the other Electro character on the team can finish off with their super high damage DPS potential, and you've got Bennett to heal you and attack bonus, which is amazing. Since you've got 3 Electro character on the team, burst up time here is no question asked. So that's a very solid Electro switch team from what I am seeing. And for that, I should have covered a lot of possible options for you as free-to-play players. If you have any discussion or other recommendation, feel free to drop down in the comment section and I will catch you there. Also, if you are interested in finding out about Baal's main DPS build, be sure to check out this video where I go in depth into that. Or if you're pulling for Baal and want to know how much Primos you can save before she arrives, then you can check out my Primogems estimation videos. If you enjoy my content on Raiden Shogun, be sure to subscribe to the channel as I'll be posting many videos on her, including all of her team comp in the next video. Now with that, this is Tom wishing everyone a super day.